Charlamagne the God is one of the biggest names in media today, and in an era of podcasts, he has impressively managed to do this over the radio. This is something that even people outside of hip-hop have given him major props for.
I've been a fan of yours for a while. I think you're the last great radio host, and you will be the last famous radio host.
However, for every person that's willing to give him his flowers for what he's accomplished in the media, there's just as many who wish they had never came onto his platform in the first place after they got absolutely embarrassed by him. My name is Louaista, and these are the victims of Charlamagne the God. Out of the thousands of individuals who sat opposite to Charlamagne, DJ Envy, and Angela Yee during the glory days of The Breakfast Club, not many had gotten as personal questions leveled at him when he was just trying to be friendly as Logic. Not exactly known for his thick skin, Logic's tolerance levels were pushed to their peak by Charlamagne when the host asked him a really personal question about his father. Or accused him of being homophobic over certain bars from the past.
Now, I saw you do an interview with Vlad TV, and you said that it would be very uncomfortable for you to listen to a gay rapper talking about kissing a dude.
Did I say that?
I don't know.
You'd probably figure that's as bad as it could get, but as it turns out, that was just the tip of the iceberg, and he was about to get even more personal at one point. After watching that, people couldn't help but feel sympathy for the no-pressure rapper. The whole interview made me feel uncomfortable. He was trying so hard to make Logic slip up and say something for clicks. So disrespectful with all the subtle shots, asking out-of-line questions. Poor Logic, he was so genuine through all of that bullshit. Bruh, I feel so bad for Logic. Later down the line, Logic would swear off of appearing on the show ever again, even covering it on the track Clickbait as he spit, "I don't do The Breakfast Club because Charlamagne is shameless. That's the only one I leave out when I run my bases. Do your research before you call someone homophobic. You making a living off of controversy, and you know it." Clearly left scarred by the experience, Logic's premature retirement from the game saw him do interviews where he basically did a post-mortem on the reasons why he decided to call it quits. During that press run, he spoke about the effect that the Breakfast Club appearance had on him.
When he basically kind of called me homophobic without even watching an interview, and I was like, I didn't even say that, and then for him to just out his mouth be like, yo, who your sister, like so callous, like that fucked me up. And I actually held on to that for like 6 years. And I was like, this isn't healthy. And I'm talking to my therapist about it. And I put it on record.
Now that Logic is back from retirement, it's no surprise that he hasn't shown up to Power 105 for another interview in years. Ultimately, Logic was a huge success and his career wasn't made or broken on The Breakfast Club. So in that sense, what he said to Logic wasn't anything compared to the mental anguish he put on Lil Mama. Around the time she showed up to chat with the infamous trio, the lip gloss rapper was being clowned left, right, and center for her terrible impulsive decision to join Alicia Keys and Jay-Z on stage without being invited. At that point, things were already pretty dark for her, but when she came up to be interviewed, Charlamagne cheerfully tried to end her career and destroy her self-esteem at the same time.
You're an actual musician. You actually have, I guess, some type of talent. Like you did have a little buzz going at one point.
Definitely have talent. And
but what have you done lately, though? This is a what have you done for me now type of industry.
What have you done lately, Charlamagne?
Charlamagne wasn't done, and he went on to criticize her even more.
And if your face was the Bible, it would be the Old Testament.
You play too much, I swear.
Yeah, you got to show and prove by actions and deeds, not words and lip service. You haven't put out no music in a long time. People know you for playing yourself, walking up on stage with Jay-Z and Alicia Keys.
Charlamagne, seriously,
that's the truth.
Cut this out.
Could y'all please help me out?
Can he cut this out?
As opposed to ending his assault there, Charlamagne just kept taking her to task in a way that was nothing short of brutal and eventually left her in tears.
Chill out, Jurassic Park, Tyrannosaurus Rex, prehistoric face.
I put out an album while my mother was dying of cancer. That right there alone is a struggle. That's hard. Right. That's tough for anybody. But my music will speak for itself. My actions will speak for itself. My mother will be proud. My father will be proud. At the end of the day. And nobody can stop me. Period.
I think you got a real story to tell, and I think you should tell it. And, stop focusing on the gimmicks. Because right now, you're like a caricature yourself.
Hated by Lil Mama ever since, she still holds a grudge to this day, and even tweeted this in 2022. Charlamagne is a bitch. He tried to trick a black young successful woman from the bottom out of my spot. He actually goes on the list with killers, cops, feds, and other haters. Jealousy is a motherfucker, and it be your own people. In the Lil Mama situation, Charlamagne was in a position to take pot shots at someone who was arguably too nice for the rap game. And someone who can relate to that is Post Malone, who was treated horribly by Charlamagne for years. Entering the game to culture vulture allegations over tracks like White Iverson and Wearing Braids, Charlamagne had clearly made up his mind about Post by the time he came to the studio, as from the outset, he went out of his way to be unpleasant with him.
Well, his album is out right now. It's called Stoney.
Did you listen to it?
Absolutely not. I might though.
What do you mean, absolutely not? You might like it. You might like it.
I might though. Somebody did recommend it. I'm lying. But I'm gonna listen to it.
During the interview, Charlamagne even took digs at Post Malone's aroma.
No, I don't dislike you, but I don't like the smell of beer and cigarettes. And Post Malone smells like every beer and every cigarette that's in whatever convenience store in New York City right now.
Considering he even brought his girl on and clowned on her too, it was one of the nastiest performances by Charlamagne ever.
You know he's gonna sleep with other women though. You do know that. Are you aware of that?
He's gonna what?
He's gonna sleep with other women.
No, I'm not.
This is what y'all should do, threesomes.
That way you can basically see who he
That's
brings
right.
in and you could make sure you manage the whole situation. It's like being a promoter.
And you keep him out of
The
trouble.
situation.
You keep him out of trouble because you don't want him to end up catching no rape charge or get no girl pregnant, catch a STD. So if you're picking the girls, you're like, no, she's a good one. We can do this together.
Have you ever thought about that?
2-on-1.
Man, y'all leave her alone.
But he didn't even stop there. Alongside calling him a fake future, Post's infamous comments that he doesn't listen to hip-hop to feel something sent the radio personality off the deep end.
He don't respect the culture. Like if he had more respect for the culture and actually appreciated hip hop and talked like he appreciated hip hop, I would probably respect him more. But when he says shit like, when you want to feel something, don't listen to hip hop. Fuck out of here. We don't listen to your hip hop when we want to feel something.
Stupid ass.
True.
Despite Charlamagne's best efforts, it seems like the rest of the world is still pretty on board with Post. So some people think he should maybe let it go, as Post already has the W for getting such big reactions out of him. Post living rent-free in Charlamagne's head. I think it's fine if Charlamagne doesn't like his music, but attacking someone's character and disrespecting them is some immature middle school shit. Although Post probably gets burnt on Charlamagne's disdain for white rappers, he at least held his own when confronted by him. While for MGK, Charlamagne basically just let him embarrass himself. Over the years, Charlamagne has been known to slander rappers as freestyle. At this point, spitting bars on The Breakfast Club is basically inadvisable because if he doesn't feel it, then he'll let you know. Just consider the infamous time where he did this to Safari that's become nothing short of legendary.
Front don't deal with a back end, your pockets on a diet, nigga. I'm calling you Atkins.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
But when it comes to secondhand embarrassment from rappers as freestyles on The Breakfast Club, there's just nothing to equal MGK's attempt. When he first came onto the show, he seemed so eager to impress Charlamagne, and well, he didn't really do a good job at it. Instead, it looked like he was about to burst into tears afterwards.
I don't believe that you can tell me that this is not good. I'd rather stuff my pockets with these dollars till the Fetty make it burst like pinatas. From the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see like how you can like listen to that and not like be like, that's.
It doesn't move me, man. Like,
All right, stop it.
it doesn't move me.
Let him listen to the album. Let him listen to the album.
He's a nice guy.
Nah, man, I'm not trying to hear that.
You're better than Yellow Wolf.
Nah, I'm not trying to hear that.
Since then, MGK has been back on The Breakfast Club without incident. But one megastar who actually appeared on the show long after Charlamagne had thrown a million jabs his way is Kanye West. Throughout his career, Ye has received Donkey of the Day numerous times over and over. So when they finally got him on the show, people were amazed that Ye even agreed to go on. But they wouldn't be disappointed with the outcome. Once he got in the studio, Charlamagne immediately provoked him when he called him Kanye Kardashian. After that, he gave Mr. West his uncut feelings about Kanye's latest album at the time.
Do you not like the reception Jesus has gotten? Cause I didn't like the album at all, and I was a Kanye West fan.
Yeah.
But Jesus was whack to me.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Over time, their relationship had retained this weird love-hate dynamic. For example, back in 2018, Charlamagne had a long-form interview with him and then gave him Donkey of the Day for his "slavery is a choice" comments just weeks later. Since then, he's claimed they squashed it all, and Ye even sent him some free Yeezys. But that hasn't stopped Charlamagne from still giving him Donkey of the Day whenever he feels it's necessary. Most notably, when Ye was going through the whole theatrical beef with Pete Davidson over Kim K.
Nobody is better at conflating BS with real issues to make himself look like the victim than Kanye West. Kanye doesn't want his kids on TikTok. I understand that totally. Kanye West, this is Charlamagne talking, Brother Leonard. You have more negative influence on people than TikTok ever will. Does Kanye West think depicting the murder of his ex-wife's boyfriend in a music video, decapitating him and burying him, is a positive image? Is he okay with his kids or any kids seeing those images? You think that video of you pretending to murder Pete wasn't all over TikTok? It's very hypocritical.
Although Kanye has had it rough from Charlamagne over the years, it's never felt like there's any real animosity there. If anything, there's some love. But the same can't be said when it comes to another megastar who has Charlamagne on his back from the jump. And that famous individual is Drake. At the time when Drizzy was regularly getting destroyed online for being too soft at the outset of his career, Charlamagne was one of the people who was leading that charge.
Show and prove by actions and deeds. Stop being a freaking sensitive ass girl. And I don't even want to say girl, because I know some girls that ain't that sensitive. Just stop being a sensitive person, period. I don't even want to insult girls like that. Because I always say it's 3 sexual orientations out here. It's gay, straight, and Drake. And Drake is just a whole different type of breed. It don't got nothing to do with nothing other than he's just a different type of breed, man. Stop being so sensitive, dog.
As the shots kept coming, this got a response from the uncharacteristically angry Drizzy.
Turn on like Power 105 and hear some nerd telling them that I'm gay or they have pictures of me, or that to me is like, why, man? Like, for what? You know, why are you using your job to tear me down? Like, you're a real fucking loser, you know? Sorry.
In retrospect, people think that maybe Drake actually took Charlamagne's advice in a way, which served as somewhat as an unintentional favor, as Drake would be toughened up from his criticism. At certain points, the two have been cordial, and after he dropped a lyric about him on Back to Back, Drake actually sent him bottles during the Meek Mill feud.
This guy Drake's really living his raps, man. He said somebody was gonna make him buy bottles for Charlamagne. He bought 6 bottles of Dom Perignon with a card that says, "Let's be friends, Aubrey Graham."
But since then, they have been up and down. Charlamagne says a comment here, then Drake responds with a bar or two. Most recently, Drake fired back at him after Charlamagne basically said that Slime You Out with SZA came and went without anyone caring. This time, it prompted a bigger response from Drizzy on Instagram, where he wrote, "You kinda weirding me out, G. Like you're really obsessed with me or something for years. Like you look in the mirror and you wish you saw my reflection type shit. Whatever you gotta do to let it out, I'm sure your 435 loyal fans will stand by you, you fucking goof." As for what the problem is, Charlamagne told Andy Cohen that he thinks this will just be the way it is, forever.
What went wrong? I really don't know. I think me and Drake will always have a love-hate relationship. I'll never, even though he's great, I'll never really have anything too good to say about him.
Over the years, Drizzy has received plenty of reasons to have issues with Charla. So many, in fact, that he probably hasn't even considered how weird he was to one of the Six God's ex-girlfriends, Jennifer Lopez. Over the years, Charlamagne has had a bizarre relationship with women. For one, he's been accused of unsavory things and even gave himself Donkey of the Day once for telling the world that he basically took advantage of his wife the first time they met. But when it comes to him being creepy on The Breakfast Club, no one had to deal with anything worse than Jennifer Lopez. During her appearances on the show, she's had to deal with some unwanted advances from Charla, as well as some following through on a very bizarre promise.
You know, I sniffed your chair last time you was
You're
here.
a sick person.
I know. I did. I couldn't help it. You're J-Lo. J-Lo just left.
It's incidents like this that make people wonder if there's something a little off about him. I unironically think Charlamagne is on the spectrum. My boy has no filter. Charlamagne is that guy you don't want to bring to a family function. But while behaving bizarrely around women is one thing, what caused a bigger stir is when some people believe that he betrayed his co-host Angela Yee by refusing to stand up for her. After working together for years, the pair always seemed to have a friendly relationship that would make you think that if someone came for Yee, he'd have her back. But when Gucci Mane rolled through with some mad accusations that Angela had tried to get with him back in the day, that theory was put to rest.
Now you smash Angela Yee,
Okay.
Of course not.
She didn't try. She was on my dick back then.
That is a lie.
I'm not lying.
No, we was cool. I was not on your dick. Stop
You
it.
used to be texting me what hotel you was at and shit like that.
That is a lie. Never. You must got me confused with somebody else.
Shortly after the interview was posted, media outlets began blowing it up out of proportion, and the clips of course went viral. As if not having her back at the time wouldn't have been enough, Charlamagne then had a face-to-face with Guwap and let both of his co-hosts get majorly disrespected in front of him.
And DJ Envy, he's a pussy too.
Envy did it too?
Envy's pussy, man. Pussy. So I'm gonna confront him about what him and Angela did, and if he come at me wrong, I'm gonna slap the shit out of him. Don't never try me like that, man. Because she was flirting with me, I rejected you, I don't want you. What you mad about? That shit wasn't even no big deal. I would never say nothing else about it. I never brought it up.
In the aftermath of that interview, Angela unfollowed him on IG, insinuating that she clearly wanted him to stand his ground, even if it meant taking a whooping. Afterwards, Angela made it clear that she didn't really have love for Charlamagne whatsoever during an interview with Variety. "We've always been the same. We work together. It is what it is. Like he said, we're co-workers. A lot of people have jobs where they don't necessarily love the people they work with. It's just a part of life. That's not the person you'd hang out with in real life." In 2022, Angela Yee would leave the show, and it always felt like there were things left unsaid. Now, Charlamagne has since apologized for not having her back, even if he didn't necessarily feel like it was on him.
Like, I just don't think that as a personality, I should be held responsible for that. But then the nuance of it is, me and Angela Yee have worked together for almost 10 years, you know? And if me and Angela Yee weren't necessarily on the best of terms, I could see why she would feel like I'm not her friend. And you know, I literally just apologized to Angela Yee for that. Like, literally, I'm talking about like yesterday.
Although the Angela Yee incident would drive a wedge between them, there are other times where Charlamagne's victims are simply the recipients of his razor-sharp wit rather than anything malicious. And in the case of Kevin Hart, that's exactly what went down. As in this occasion, Charlamagne was funny enough to even best a comedian at their own game. Back in 2017, Kevin Hart was on his redemption tour after it was discovered that he cheated on his wife. So every press interview he did was about him trying to claim that he was a changed man, and for the most part, journalists were content to go along with his message. But when it came to his attempt on The Breakfast Club, it was quickly derailed by C the God with a single comment.
Wait, man, go ahead.
Speaking of jumping on that,
Yes,
what
sir.
was you thinking earlier this year when you got caught cheating in Vegas?
Hey, brother,
Mr.
listen.
Irresponsible.
It's beyond irresponsible, okay?
Hilariously, it only got worse from here. And although Kevin Hart kept trying to give as much praise to his partner as possible for taking him back, Charlamagne just stayed at it.
You're my rib. That's my wife. You're up here.
Well, what's your favorite side to have with your ribs?
Shut up, man. Shut up.
So that's a great joke, Charlamagne. You know I know some shit about you.
While that was all in good fun, the same can't be said for everyone who was the butt of a joke for Charlamagne. And sometimes, even his friends aren't safe. Just look at what happened to Tyrese Gibson. Over the years, the actor, singer, and rapper has had a contentious relationship with the Power 105 show. He even got sued by a director for running his mouth off about the project in the studio. Over time, Charlamagne, Envy, and Tyrese got close. They even texted each other regularly. But when Tyrese fell on hard times, Charlamagne wasn't exactly there to lift him up. In fact, he piled on.
I've been sparing Tyrese only because even though I feel like he's full of feces, I wasn't sure what it was he was going through, okay? When he was crying online about his daughter, I had no problem with that. I'm a father, he's a father. Kids need both their parents, period. Okay, when he was online crying about The Rock doing the spinoff to the Fast and Furious, I thought that was extremely lame. But I told him that via a group chat. Yes, Tyrese, DJ, Envy, and I had a group chat that I no longer participate in, okay, because I'm allergic to lameness. Tyrese Gibson, I ain't even here to make jokes with you, all right? You need to learn to get out your own way. You the type to stand in your own shadow and wonder why it's dark, all right? Tyrese, you are the prime example of talk much and they think you're a fool, be silent and they become curious. Try being silent, and maybe people will start becoming curious about something other than your mental meltdowns, all right? We're not gonna be curious about no movies, we won't be curious about no music, because you keep talking too much, reminding us that you are indeed a devil damn fool. Please give Tyrese Gibson the biggest hee-haw, please.
Hee-haw, you stupid motherfucker, you dumb.
To say that fans were shocked at how hard he went at him would be an understatement. Tyrese, so you're just gonna kick me when I'm down? Charlamagne, where are my Timbs at? This dude was working on Donkey of the Day like a science project. While they were once buddies, the relationship between them had majorly disintegrated. And as Tyrese continued to go through it, he spoke openly about how much Charlamagne hurt him.
You're this voice, you got books, you're this champion, outspoken man that represents all things mental health. And yet, I've lost count of the amount of time that he's contributed to the stresses in and around my mental health, from being insensitive or just deciding to talk about a man that he actually knows.
Now, in this case, all's well that ends well, as Tyrese has since gone on the show and made up with Charlamagne and Envy. But for some people, the verbal beatings they took from Charlamagne will last a lifetime. And for that reason, he's going to go down in history as one of the most controversial men to ever appear on the airwaves.